Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be talking about the 4 types of players you'll run into and encounter in Grand Theft Auto Online. So this classification of players is actually a real thing. It's based on a 1996 paper by Richard Bartle, who, according to their preferred actions within the game, determines what types of classification of a gamer they are. So user Machete Tigre actually brought this up the other day, and I thought this was cool enough that I wanted to share it with you guys. So a little bit about this classification. It's called the Bartle taxonomy of player types, and it's based on a character theory. The character theory consists of 4 characters: achievers, explorers, socializers, and killers. Now, if we were to take this actual test, the Bartle test, it would basically be about 30 questions where you would total around 200% around all categories, with no category exceeding 100%. So for example, a player might score 100% killer, 50% socializer, 40% achiever, and 10% explorer. Well, obviously, since we can't do that with this sort of video, what I want to do is just hear from you guys in the comment section down below after I explain what each one of them is. Are you an achiever, an explorer, a socializer, or a killer? Let's get into what each one of these are right now. So we'll go into the official definitions and then kind of relate them back to GTA Online. So achievers are players who prefer to gain points, levels, and equipment, and other concrete measures of succeeding in-game. They will go to great lengths to achieve rewards that confer them little or no gameplay benefit simply for the prestige of having it. So the achiever is likely someone that is going to be the best at everything you can be, trying to get the best absolute car, having the best apartment, the most expensive yacht, the most money, the highest level, essentially padding their stats at any point possible. This is the person where if you talk to them and you say, hey, do you have this vehicle? They instantly snap and they have it. Or what apartment do you have? They've got the best one. They've got the best CEO office. They've got the best bunker. So that's what I think the achievers are. So since we're talking about Grand Theft Auto Online, let me give you the multiplayer appeal of the achiever. One of the appeals of online gaming to the achiever is that he or she has the opportunity to show off their skill and hold elite status to others. They value the competition from other achievers and look to the socializers to give them praise. As they achieve more, they are no longer easy targets of the killers and may enjoy their new position on the food chain. These gamers also tend to like seeing their usernames at the top of scoreboards and ladder systems, and many games and platforms will often cater to these players. A good example is Microsoft's Gamerscore, or like Xbox Live points for unlocking achievements and stuff like that, and PS4 trophies as well. So that is the first type of player you're going to run into in Grand Theft Auto Online. That is the achiever. Up next is the explorers. So explorers tend to dig around and are players who prefer discovering areas, creating maps, and learning about hidden places. They often feel restricted when a game expects them to move on within a certain time, as that does not allow them to look around at their own pace. They find great joy in discovering an unknown glitch or a hidden Easter egg. Now, as how that appeals to Grand Theft Auto Online, these are the ones who want a piece of everything. They take full advantage of every game mechanic. They're constantly swapping between the CEO and the MC President all the time to take advantage of both. They're probably ones who have interesting vehicle choices. They like setting traps, messing with people in general, but usually are never malicious. They'll be changing things up from how you usually fight. They'll waste your time, and GTA has so many different things to try that are new and interesting. The combinations are more effective the more someone explores as becoming an explorer. Now, as far as how the explorer appeals to multiplayer games, the explorer benefits much the same way as the achiever does in the massively multiplayer environment, as they are surrounded by people who will benefit from their wisdom. They often meet other explorers and can swap experiences, and most often, socializers do not mind listening either. And the last thing about explorers is that they can be notoriously fickle, abandoning a popular game within mere weeks while spending months or years delving deeply into a less popular one. So I'm not sure if that applies to GTA Online, as it's still one of the most popular games of all time, but I think the notorious fickle part is something that's true. They get stuck on one thing, and that's all they want to do. I think someone that is deeply involved in the Mount Chiliad alien UFO crash site mystery right now would probably classify themselves as an explorer. Up next, we've got the socializers. So the socializers are a multitude of gamers who choose to play games for the social aspect rather than for the actual game itself. They gain the most enjoyment from a game by interacting with other players and on some occasions, computer-controlled characters with personality. The game is merely a tool that they use to meet others in-game or outside of it. Now, as far as how that appears in Grand Theft Auto Online, these are the ones that are here to chat and roleplay, drive flashy cars around, or follow and ride other players just because the game is a medium for them to be social and do stuff with other players. So I would probably say these are the most casual of Grand Theft Auto Online players and probably the ones that I would want to encounter the most. You know, one that's here to just be friendly or help out or maybe lend a ride if I end up needing one. They aren't really threatening in any way, which is obviously a type of player that I like to run across. So why is Grand Theft Auto Online perfect for the socializer? Well, it provides near limitless potential for new relationships. Socializers start filling up their friends list as soon as they start meeting people and get to know them better through private messages and sometimes even voice chat. In Grand Theft Auto Online, they would take full advantage of the ability to join crews and form lasting friendships in trying to help other people out. They are compatible with just about everyone, even killers, and eventually they might even be a well-known name on a particular server, either for the services they provide or the drama they are likely involved in. So that is pretty awesome right there. And that leaves us with our final category. That is the killers. So killers thrive on competition with other players and prefer fighting them to scripted computer-controlled opponents. This is probably the most interesting one. So killers, we all know that guy, the guy who seems to kill for no particular reason, blows up your vehicle cargo to hell with a buzzard or sticky bombs, your cocaine shipment destroyed with a Ruiner 2000, or hunt you down from the skies in a buzzard or a hydra. We all know this kind of player. So let's talk about why there is a massive appeal for the killer in Grand Theft Auto Online. Because causing mayhem amongst computer-controlled people may be fun, but nothing amounts to the joy of pitting one's skills against an actual player-controlled opponent. For most, the joy of being a killer results from a friendly, competitive spirit. They're in it for the sport, trying to read their opponent's move, and generally acting with honor. For others, it's more about power and the ability to hurt others or the thrill of the hunt. Oftentimes, once a killer finds a weaker character, it becomes increasingly enjoyable to hunt this character, stalking them through different zones or areas, and oftentimes it becomes an interesting game as if other help will arrive to help out that individual, or if they'll just be left to be killed basically over and over and over again. Now, moving on, killers are also active in the social and economic sides of a multiplayer game. Market control appeals strongly to killers, many of which who have a natural talent for reading markets. Now, social killers tend to be the online community leaders or trolls. Many make the mistake of thinking killers are antisocial or without friends, but this isn't often the case. Even more hostile and aggressive killers can inspire to be sort of a hero worship by less talented killers or achievers. Man, so we're really deep diving into the type of killers that exist in the Grand Theft Auto Online hierarchy. So these are some things that I've noticed about the killers. Number one, getting angry at them only makes them keep going after you. If you're not an interesting target, they're likely going to move on. And one thing you can do is specifically state the killer's username in the chat, and that'll actually pique the interest of any explorers who are going around feeling like playing with a killer. Also, if that doesn't work, just ditch a lobby with a killer. If you're angry and you want to beat him, maybe you're better than them, but that's not important. If you want to keep rolling, just leave the lobby and there's nothing that they can really do about it. Now, other ways you could deal with a killer go like this. For non-killers, just know that the killers will get bored of you pretty quickly. If you go in passive mode or hide, or if you don't give them any indication that you're upset, or even if you just go AFK, your KD isn't that important to you, and unless you're a killer or an explorer, it's not really worth fighting back, because you're probably not going to enjoy it unless you're significantly better than the killer. Now, if you're a killer and you encounter another killer, achievers and socializers are your targets. They'll be the ones that'll get the most upset. Achievers will rage after you and keep fighting and play emotionally and make mistakes, making them ideal targets. Socializers will probably go passive or hide and complain about you in chat. And other killers will probably rise to a challenge, and whichever one is worse will probably eventually leave to find a different server they can stomp. Beware of the explorer. They're only going to enjoy figuring out how to subvert and frustrate you, and even if you move on from them to kill others, they're probably going to keep harassing you. You're best off ditching a server with an explorer after you because they likely aren't going to stop. But now what I want to do is hear from either you guys in either the comment section down below or on Twitter. What are you? Are you a killer, achiever, a socializer, or an explorer? Or do you feel like you've got a little bit of both in you? I think for the most part, I'm pretty much split between socializer and achiever. I like having all the cars, all the apartments, everything like that. But I'm also just try to enjoy being friendly with other players. If you don't bother me, I'm really not going to bother you. There's maybe like 10% of killer in me. Like if you constantly come after me, I will go for you. And then maybe a little bit of an explorer too. But definitely the most for me is the achiever and the socializer. But like I mentioned, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. I'll leave links to everything I was talking about in the description so you can check it out for yourself, as it's definitely a very interesting article. And I think it's really interesting to read this and how it applies to Grand Theft Auto Online. However, like I said, that's all I've got for you guys today. If you did go and enjoy this video, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.